it going? Welcome back to Lily White Lane. Hope you're all doing good, hope you're all keeping safe and well, and in the words of Alan Partridge, hope you're having a really good Tuesday and week wherever you are in the world and whatever you are planning to get up to today and over the rest of the week as a whole. Now, bit of a different video today because I was lying in my bed last night thinking about that 100 million we sold Harry Kane for, and don't get me wrong, there's a very good chance that a lot of that doesn't get invested because we know Daniel Levy, we know Enoch, and we know they like to pocket money they earn out of the football club. But what if all of that 100 million was invested in a player or two players or three players or four players? What positions would we recruit in? What players would we bring in? What approach would we take? Would we go in for young players like we have done most of this summer window, or would we go in for one or two proven players? And I was lying there thinking about it in my bed, and I thought this could make for a good video and it could make for good interactions with people. So guys, as well, I want you guys to comment down below, be realistic about it, whether Spurs could attract these players or not, and be realistic about the prices you could bring them in for, judging by market value. I want you guys to comment down below how you would spend that 100 million that Spurs have earned from Harry Kane if you were Tottenham Hotspur chairman. And I wanted to come on here today and go, if I was Spurs chairman, how would I invest that 100 million based on the position we are in right now? And this is what I personally would do with that 100 million. I would be looking at four positions, right? These would be my priority positions I'd be looking at from the start. Striker. I think we've seen straight away this season that Richarlison isn't going to cut it. Now, I know a lot of people are saying I'm being harsh on the guy, but last season, one Premier League goal all season in 38 games. When he was getting game time in pretty much all of those 38 games, okay, he wasn't starting all, but he started over 10 and got game time in a lot of them. One goal, it's not good enough. It really isn't good enough when you're spending 50 to 60 million on him. So I'd be looking at a striker. I'd be looking at a number 6 because I do think we need that. I still think we're lacking that Wanyama type player. Granted, they may not even start when Bentancur comes back, and we'll have him, Bissouma and Maddison, which is a fantastic midfield, but I think it's good to have a player like that anyway. I'd be looking at another centre-back. Yes, we've bought Van den Ven in, but if that doesn't work out, which I can't see how it won't, but if that doesn't work out, then we've still got Sanchez, still got depth, and still got Sanchez, still got depth. We haven't got depth, we've still got Sanchez, still got Dyer, who could come into that team, which I don't think any Spurs fan wants to see. And you can never have too many good centre-backs. It's shown right now by Manchester City. Stones, Gvardiol, Diaz, Ake, Akanji, so many quality centre-backs. Not only does it add depth, but they can rotate it around and every player is fit as a fiddle. I think it'd be good to have not another top centre-back necessarily, but one who can really do a job in there around the same level of a Romero and a Van den Ven. I'm not expecting a Gvardiol, I'm not expecting a Laporte because I'm being realistic about it, but someone around the same level as a Van den Ven and Christian Romero. And I'd also be looking at a right back. That would be the fourth position I would be looking at, because I thought we saw against Brentford and in pre-season that Emerson Royal can get caught out so easily, and both him and Porro have their flaws. Porro's really good going forward. He's pacey defensively, but when it comes to blocking and sitting back, he's not good enough and gets beaten. Royal gets ripped apart defensively. He's not pacey enough. He's okay going forward. Good at blocking. I mean, both of them have their fair share of good moments in games, but both of them also have their flaws. So those would be the four positions I would be looking at. And I want to start things off by saying a player I'd buy who can cover two of those positions, and that player is Tyler Adams. Tyler Adams can cover that number 6 role and that right back role. He adds depth, he's versatile, he's exciting, and he's young. I think this guy ticks every box when it comes to what Tottenham Hotspur are trying to do this summer and the type of players we are trying to bring in. Last season, he did an okay job at Leeds, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't his best season. And I know Leeds fans are not going to like what I'm going to say, but I think he was a level above the rest of the players in that team. I really do. And I think at RB Leipzig, this guy was absolutely unreal. Very exciting, young, you know, absolutely fantastic for them. Absolutely fantastic for them. And you can see straight away Leeds without him are doing even worse in the Championship. So, look, Tyler Adams, I really like the guy. I think Spurs can get him back to what he was at Leipzig, and I think he will get back to that even if he doesn't come back to Tottenham Hotspur. I think he can play that number 6 role, and I also think he can play that right back. And the reason I'd go with him and not a better player is because if we're going to splash out all that cash on a number 6, I understand we've got good depth then, but like we've already got Bissouma, we've already got Maddison, we've already got Bentancur who's coming back from injury. We've already got that depth, or not that depth, that quality in midfield. So we're not looking for quality necessarily. We're looking for a bit of depth. This guy can provide that both in the midfield positions and the right back positions. And in my opinion, he'd probably do a better job right now than both Porro and Emerson Royale. So Tyler Adams for me would be my first signing. You could roughly get him for about 25 million. That's his market value at the time of speaking. I'd go in for the guy. So we're 25 million down. Who would be the next player that I would go for? Striker. You guys have heard my rants about Richarlison. I talked about him yesterday. I do think Spurs need a striker. I think we've got to be realistic about this. As much as we've got the money to try and bring in an Osimhen or a Kylian Mbappe even potentially for a year, and then he goes to Real Madrid, I don't think we will, and I don't think we'll be able to. No European football, no Harry Kane. We're not a pull enough. So we have to be realistic about the players that we can sign. And I think you look at the approach we're taking this summer, exciting young players, a lot of them who are unproven, but have a point to prove and are already starting to make that point in the Premier League. I think another one of those players who fits and ticks all of those boxes for Ange'S Spurs team, exciting, young, prolific, slightly unproven, but then every top player at a certain time was unproven. I'd go in for this guy. I think he's brilliant. Perchy TV's a huge fan of him, and so am I. I'm going to go for Gift Orban. Gift Orban is going to be the second player I am going to go for. His market value is around 25 to 30 million. So we'll go with the 30 million. We'll say we're 55 million down in this 100 million rebuild for Tottenham Hotspur. And yeah, I really like the guy. And the amount of comments going, oh, I'm proving, okay, I understand what you're saying, but that was the approach we took under Antonio Conte. Sign proven players, not players who may do okay in the Premier League. No young players who we don't know about. And it didn't work out. You can see the approach Spurs are taking this summer by signing young players. We've signed a couple who are looking very, very good. I'd go in for this guy. I think he's pacey. I think he's prolific. I think he's done a fantastic job in that Ghent team. And look, the Belgian league, granted, it's not the best league in the world, and it's not in the top 5 leagues of the world, but it's not a terrible league. They consistently get teams that get to at least around the 16 in the Champions League and qualify for their group stage. Club Brugge did it last season. Although they got panned in around the 16, they did get through their group, and it was a fairly tough group. The Belgian league, it's not the worst. This guy, he has that predatory instinct. He's not tapping merchant, that's the wrong word, but he's there where you need him to be. His positioning's quality. I think he'll fit into that Ange'S system like a glove, because it's not all about him, it's about the team as well. I really like this guy. Another player who I would look at as an alternative would be Kyogo Furuhashi. And I can hear people going, why not spend the entire 100 million on Osimhen? Because why would a player who's just won Serie A want to move to a club in 8th with no stars in it, where everything is a gamble and they're trying to rebuild with young players? Same with Mbappe. Vlahovic, maybe try your strength for that in the 100 million because of the club that he's at right now and the shambles at Juventus, but probably not going to happen when there's clubs like Bayern Munich looking at him and Real Madrid. So we've got to be realistic. The reason we're in this position is because of Daniel Levy and Nick, and I'm just as frustrated as many Spurs fans are with them. I want them out of this football club, but we have to look at the position we're in right now and say we're not going to attract those players. And Gift Orban, for me, he can become on the same level as someone like a Vlahovic. He's 22, he's still developing, getting better, pacey, prolific, predatory instinct. He would be the second player I would go with in his rebuild. Like I said, I think 4 positions need to be identified. I think Tyler Adams has added that depth and a little bit of quality in that CDM and right back position. I think now we've looked at that striker, in my opinion, we need in Gift Orban. So we've got 3 positions out of the way. The 4th position I think Tottenham Hotspur need is another centre-back. Not another world-class centre-back, but another top centre-back who can really do it in the Premier League. And that man, for me, Tapsoba. It's not too late. The guy's open to a move to Tottenham Hotspur, right? Who cares what the Bayern Leverkusen guys? We don't want to sell Tapsoba. We've got the money now. I know there is a big disadvantage to having this money in that teams know you have that money. Just like West Ham with Declan Rice, they're going to up prices because they know you're probably going to be willing to pay. So there is that to account. That's why the players I'm bringing in this 100 million rebuild, if I was chairman, it will probably slightly be below 100 million because these teams will be demanding slightly more than their market value because we've got that money. But it's not too late to move to this guy. I really like Van den Ven. I really do you know, I've made a video saying this guy can be the next Van Dijk. He's 6'4", massive, solid defensively. Bring in Tapsoba, man. Bring in Tapsoba as well. I think he's slightly more proven than Van de Ven. That's not saying that Van de Ven's a bad player. Listen to what I've said about how this is absolute nonsense when people got unproven and what have you. But yeah, I think the guy's a very good centre-back. Another big guy in there. And like I say, look at City and the depth they have in those centre-back positions. It was the centre-backs last season who almost won them the league. And this season, I struggle genuinely to see them conceding less than or more than 100. I struggle to see them conceding more than 20. I really do, because they've got players like Vardiol, Laporte, Diaz, Ake, Akanji, Stones who can drop deep. Those are 6 top centre-backs. Stones, Diaz and Gvardiol, in my opinion, 3 of the best in the world right now. You can never have too many centre-backs and depth in those positions. Centre-backs are more likely to get injured than outfield players. They are, because of the amount of tackles they're putting in. Tapsoba, 40 million. I'd go in for the guy. That wraps up my 100 million rebuild. I'm 5 million short overall. I've gone with 95 million for Gift Orban, Tyler Adams and Tapsoba. I've been realistic about it. 5 million off, like I say, that'll probably get more than made up for by players demanding a little bit more because they know we have that money. Guys, I want to hear how you would rebuild Spurs with that money. Be realistic about it. I want to hear all your thoughts and opinions and comments. So how would you spend that 100 million that Tottenham Hotspur have? Thank you for watching this video. Take care. All the best. Have a smashing rest of your day and week. And as always, Company Spurs. Nick and Levy out. In Big Ange, we trust. Up the Spurs.